Let me tell you a story. I was at a bank recently to change my address in their records. To my surprise, even in this day and age, they were still doing business on paper. So they handed me a physical form to redo my KYC, asking me to paste a passport-sized photo and to attach the printouts of my ID proofs. Since I did not have those with me, I had to visit the bank again the next day to submit my request. And guess what? It wasn't a straightforward submission. They made me run from one staff member to another for verification before finally accepting it. Clearly, their process wasn't organized, smooth, or user-friendly. After I submitted the request, I was told to wait 5 business days for them to process it. Because the entire process was manual or offline, I had no way to track it. I wasn't even given a request ID. And the funny part is, even to this day, I still don't know whether it has been completed or not. I guess I'll have to call them or visit the bank again to find out. No transparency, nothing. Terrible customer experience. Extremely frustrating, isn't it? Can you relate to this experience? I'm sure you have been through something similar at some point. In fact, this whole incident inspired me to bring you this video to show you how business process management platforms like Pega are a true blessing for customers like us, often without us even realizing it. They completely transform the customer experience by automating not only banking processes, but any business process. In this video, we will look at Pega's BPM capabilities and how they help you automate business processes. Benefits of Pega BPM. My favorite 5-step approach to automating any business process using Pega. I will also apply this approach right in front of you to automate the loan approval process. We will also look at how to model business processes or design workflows in Pega. I will design the loan request workflow right in front of you. Finally, I'll share the zip file of the entire code and also show you how you can import it into your Pega instance to review the code on your end. I know this video may seem a little lengthy, but this video is really important if you want to become a professional Pega developer and learn things in depth. It will also provide you with a solid foundation to case management in Pega, which I will cover in my upcoming videos. So make sure you watch it until the end. But how do you know that I know what I'm talking about? What gives me the credibility to share this information with you? Let me introduce myself. I'm Abhishek, a certified senior system architect in Pega. I've worked as a Pega developer for some of the biggest multinational corporations for almost 10 years. And I've coached over 100 professionals, helping them achieve Pega certifications and land jobs as Pega developers. You can send me a direct message on social media for your coaching needs. All my social media links are given in the description below. Let's work together to build your Pega career. By the way, if you haven't joined the Telegram channel yet, you are missing out. Join now for regular updates on new videos, PDF guides, code zip files, and everything you need to level up your Pega game. You'll find the link in the description below. Go join it now. Alright, with that out of the way, let's jump right in. Pega's BPM capabilities help organizations automate and streamline processes. Great definition, right? But what does it really mean to automate and streamline a business process? Let me break it down for you. Let's take the loan approval process as an example. Back in the day, loan approvals were totally offline. A customer, let's say Bob, had to fill out a physical form and hand it over to the loan officer. The officer would go through it, verify his details, collect documents, and check if he met the eligibility criteria. Then Bob's file would be handed over to the credit risk department where they would run a credit analysis to figure out if he was trustworthy enough for the loan. After that, the file would make its way through yet another manual handoff to the manager who had the final say. And as you can imagine, all these handoffs and manual tasks meant only one thing: delays. And the worst part, Bob had no way to track his loan application. No updates, no transparency, nothing. Just waiting and hoping for the best. But that was the story back then. Fast forward to today, automation has completely changed the game, making the process faster, smoother, and way more user-friendly. Now Bob can apply for a loan online. He simply fills out a digital form and uploads the required documents, and that's it. No more physical paperwork, no more running around, just a quick, hassle-free digital experience. And guess what? The moment Bob submits his loan application, it's automatically routed to the loan officer. No more delays from manual handovers. The system ensures a seamless flow of the loan application along a predefined path from Bob to the loan officer, then to the credit risk department, and finally to the manager, all without manual intervention. Think of it like a car manufacturing assembly line. Pega acts like the conveyor belt, making sure everything happens in the right order and at the right time. And here is something interesting. Repetitive tasks, including decision making, are handled by the system. No manual intervention needed. For example, instead of the loan officer manually running an eligibility check, the system does it instantly based on predefined criteria. And the same goes for credit analysis. The system pulls Bob's credit history from backend systems to assess his credit worthiness within seconds. All of this means less manual effort, fewer human errors, and a loan approval process that's faster, accurate, and way more efficient. And the best part? Bob can now track his application in real time. No more guessing, no more waiting in the dark, just full transparency. But it's not just Bob who benefits. Pega BPM features like real-time reporting and analytics give managers deep insights into process performance. For example, they can track how long each loan application spends at different stages, pinpoint delays, and address them before they become a problem. And that's how Pega's BPM capabilities automate and streamline not only loan approvals, but also insurance claims processing, ticket booking, or any other business process you can think of. Before we dive into a hands-on demonstration, let's quickly review the key benefits of Pega BPM based on what we just discussed. Provides customers with a seamless, user-friendly digital experience. Makes processes faster and more efficient by automating handoffs, tasks, and decision making while reducing manual intervention. Minimizes human errors, making processes more accurate. Make sure that every request, like a loan application, goes through the same sequence of steps, keeping the process consistent and delivering the same results every time, whether it's Bob's loan application or Lisa's. Provides full visibility into request status, allowing customers to track their requests in real time. Provides insights into process performance, helping managers identify bottlenecks and continuously improve efficiency. Allows process models to be modified without heavy coding. Don't worry, you will see this in a minute as we dive into the hands-on demonstration of automating the loan approval process. Alright, let's move to the hands-on part. Let's see how we can automate a business process using Pega BPM. I'll walk you through a simple 5-step approach to automating any process. Ready? Step 1. Identify the steps or tasks involved in the business process. Step 2. Categorize the tasks. Classify each one as user-performed or system-driven. User-performed tasks are manually carried out by users, whereas the system-driven ones are automated. Step 3. Analyze the purpose or outcome of each task in detail so as to gain clarity on how it should be implemented in Pega. Step 4. Create a process model, which is a visual representation of the business process in Pega. In this step, you just outline the process by arranging all the tasks on the design canvas in a structured manner, without worrying about the details yet and just focusing on the overall process flow. I know it might seem overwhelming at first, but stick with me. It will all make sense in a minute as I create a process model right in front of you. Step 5. Configure and complete the process model. Now this is where you go beyond the outline by adding details, configuring each task, defining rules, and making sure that everything runs smoothly. Alright, now let's go over the steps one more time. Come on, say it with me. Task identification, task categorization, detailed task analysis, process model outline, and process model configuration. Good. Now let's put this approach into action and automate the loan approval process. The loan approval process typically involves these actions or tasks. Task 1. A customer submits a loan application. Task 2. An eligibility check is done to verify basic requirements like the customer's age and income. Task 3. A credit analysis is performed to determine the customer's creditworthiness by reviewing their credit score, credit history, and outstanding debts. Task 4. The loan officer reviews the application for completeness, making sure all the required information and documentation are provided. Finally, task 5. The manager makes the final decision, either approving or rejecting the loan. Good. Let's run through the tasks again. Repeat after me. Application submission, eligibility check, credit analysis, application review, and final approval. For each task, ask yourself these questions. Is it going to be carried out manually or automatically? Will a user perform it or the system? As we discussed earlier, tasks like eligibility check and credit analysis are typically handled by the system, whereas application submission, application review, and final approval are performed by users, the customer, the loan officer, and the manager. Again, for each task, ask yourself these questions. What is this task meant to accomplish? And how is it going to accomplish that result? For example, the application submission task allows customers to submit loan applications by filling in their details and uploading documents through an interface or user form. The eligibility check step is designed for the system to automatically qualify or disqualify the customer by evaluating them against predefined criteria. The credit analysis step also relies on the system to assess the customer's creditworthiness by retrieving their credit history from external databases. The application review task is meant to enable the loan officer to review the details and documents through an interface. Similarly, the final approval task allows the manager to approve or reject loan applications, again through an interface. In this step, we create a model or a visual representation of the loan approval process. We need two things for that: a concrete work class and a process flow. Why? Let me explain. Pega is built on object-oriented programming and makes extensive use of classes and objects. A work class is a special type of class in Pega that represents a specific type of work being processed by the system, like loan requests. But why a concrete class and not abstract? Because individual loan requests submitted by users will be objects or instances of that class. Work classes inherit from a special class called work dash or one of its descendants to reuse some built-in functionality. But hey, don't worry about all that right now. I will be bringing a dedicated video soon to cover class inheritance and different class types in detail. For now, just remember two things. Our class needs to be a work class and it must be concrete. Now what about process flows? Why do you need one? Process flows are used to represent business processes like the loan approval process in Pega. They let you model business processes intuitively using a graphical interface. You will see that in a minute. Alright, here is a quick recap. To model the loan approval process in Pega, you need two things. Repeat after me. A concrete work class for loan requests and a process flow for the loan approval process. Alright, now that we know what we need, let's head over to Dev Studio and create both the class and the process flow step by step. We'll start by creating the class. To do that, go to the Create menu, then navigate to sysadmin and select Class. I will repeat, Create sysadmin class. A form will pop up. Just add a label, which is like a short description of the class. And a name. Class names in Pega use hyphens to show inheritance. Our class will inherit from an existing one. My bank, lending, APAC, my app, work. So this becomes the base of our class name. Note that this class inherits from work dash cover dash, which in turn inherits from work dash. As a result, our class also indirectly inherits from work dash, making it a work class. Pretty cool, right? This setup ensures we get all the built-in functionalities automatically. But hey, don't stress too much about the class naming conventions and inheritance right now. It will all make sense when we dive deeper in my upcoming dedicated video. Now we add another hyphen and our class name. Let's say loan request, which gives us the full class name. Finally, click Create and Open at the top right corner. This is going to open the class rule form. There are a couple of things to configure here. First up, the class type. It can be either abstract or concrete. Like I mentioned earlier, our class needs to be concrete, so I'm selecting that from the dropdown. Next up, created in version. We need to pick a rule set version here. Just press the down arrow on your keyboard and select a version from the available ones. In the next dropdown with multiple options, select the one that assigns the class to a class group. This groups it with related classes. In the field that follows, define the class group. This is going to be the parent class. I will just copy it from above and paste it here. Again, don't stress about class groups for now. We will explore them in more detail in the same upcoming video on class types and inheritance. Lastly, go to the History tab and provide a description and explain the class's usage. Don't forget to save your changes by clicking Save at the top right corner. And with that, your class rule is ready. Now let's move on to the next step, creating the process flow. To do that, go to the Create menu, then navigate to Process and select Flow. I'll repeat, Create, Process, Flow. On the form that pops up, first add a label that describes the business process. Next, we need to apply the process flow to a class. This is typically the work class that represents the type of work the process handles. Since our process deals with loan requests, we will apply it to the work class we just created. I will simply copy the class name from the class URL form and paste it here. Finally, click Create and Open at the top right corner. This opens the process flow form, which provides a graphical interface for modeling your process. The blank area you see here is the design canvas where we will map out or arrange all the tasks using different two-dimensional shapes, just like a flow chart. Above the canvas, you see the palette with options to add or delete shapes from the canvas. This intuitive approach to modeling processes like flowcharts makes it easy for anyone to do it. Alright, let's clean up the canvas first. Just press Ctrl A to select everything, then click the trash icon in the palette to clear it out. Don't worry, you're not deleting anything important. Let's start the process design by adding the start shape. It denotes the start of the process. Click the Add icon in the palette, then select the Start shape. I'll just move it to the start of the canvas. Next, let's design the first step or task in the process, application submission. This task is supposed to present customers with a form to collect request details like personal information, loan type, loan amount, and any supporting documents. To design it, click the Add icon, then select the Assignment shape, which lets you collect information from end users via forms. I'll just grab it and move it next to the Start shape. Let's rename the assignment shape to reflect the task's purpose. Right-click on it, select View Properties, enter the task description in the dialog, and click Submit. Now let's connect the two shapes to establish the sequence. This ensures the application submission task happens right after the start of the process. Let's design the next step in the process, eligibility check, which is an automated step. The system must automatically decide whether the customer qualifies for the loan based on predefined criteria. We are essentially automating decision making here. So instead of having the loan officer decide manually on each case, we are configuring the system to do it. Click the Add icon, then select the decision shape, which lets you automate decision making. Let's rename it to reflect its purpose by right-clicking on it, selecting View Properties, entering the description, and clicking Submit. Next, connect this decision shape to the previous assignment shape to enforce the task sequence. It's like instructing the system, hey, execute the decision shape after the assignment shape. In other words, perform eligibility check after application submission. And that makes sense too, right? Since the eligibility check should come after the customer has submitted their application and not before. The next step in the process is credit analysis, which is also automated. Instead of having the loan officer run credit analysis manually, we will rely on the system to do it automatically by pulling the customer's credit history from external databases and assessing their credit worthiness. We will design this step using a combination of two shapes. The utility shape for retrieving credit history and the decision shape to decide creditworthiness automatically. The utility shape allows you to program or write the logic for completing a specific activity like retrieving credit history from backend systems. Rename the two shapes to show their purpose. Then connect them together and to the previous shape to ensure that credit analysis happens after eligibility check. The next step in the process is application review, which is supposed to present the loan officer with a form to manually review request details and documents before pushing the request to the manager for final approval. Since this requires a manual action via a user form, we will design it the same way as the first step, application submission, using the assignment shape. Rename it accordingly and connect it to the last shape. The final step is manager approval. This step must display an interface or a form for the manager to approve or reject loan requests. Some of you might be thinking, okay, let's add another assignment shape to design it. And which is not wrong. You can do that, and it works just fine for a simple single level approval like this. However, Pega provides a special approval shape which comes with a lot of built-in functionality, such as a predefined interface, saving you time and effort. This shape can be easily configured for simple as well as complex approvals involving multiple levels, making it the most efficient choice. To add it, click the Add icon, then navigate to Automations and select Approval. I'll repeat, Add icon, Automations, Approval. Let's quickly rename it and connect it to the previous shape, just like we have done so far for all the other shapes. With that, we have covered all the steps or tasks in the process. Next, we need to instruct the system that, hey, this is where the process ends. Terminate the process here. To do that, we always finish the process design by adding the end shape and connecting it to the last shape. And that's it. We have completed the process model, or you can say loan request workflow, which represents the path loan request follow from submission to resolution. Let me quickly sum up the shapes we used here. Start shape, which denotes the beginning of a process. Assignment shape, which is used for collecting and displaying information to end users via forms. Decision shape, which lets you automate decision making. Utility shape, which helps you define the logic for a specific activity. Approval shape for handling approvals efficiently. And finally, end shape, which marks the end of a process. There are also some advanced shapes like send email, run data transform, and save data page. But I will cover those in another video. This video is an introduction to process modeling in Pega, so we are keeping it pretty basic. Now here is an important part. At the eligibility check step, if the customer satisfies the criteria, the loan request moves on to the next step, credit analysis. But what if the customer does not meet the eligibility criteria? What should happen then? There are many ways to handle that, but for now, let's keep it simple. We will just terminate the flow if the customer is found ineligible. Let's rename the decision shape and the two connectors accordingly. Similarly, during credit analysis, if the customer is found to be creditworthy, the loan request moves on to the loan officer for review. But what if the customer is not creditworthy? What path should it take then? Let's design the alternate path. Again, for simplicity, we will terminate the flow if that happens. Let's quickly rename this decision shape as well as the two connectors to reflect both the paths. Don't forget to save your changes. These scenarios represent exceptions that must be handled to build a robust solution. Thinking through all possible exceptions and handling them effectively is what distinguishes a great developer from others. So get in the habit of looking for them and handling them in your code. By the way, if you are enjoying the video, don't forget to hit the like button. It keeps me motivated to create more valuable content for you. Now, some of you might be thinking, wait a minute, this isn't how we design workflows in Pega. Don't we use case types and stages instead? And you would be absolutely right. The process flow based approach I just demonstrated was used in older Pega versions like version 5 and version 6. While this approach works well for simple workflows, handling complex and dynamic workflows efficiently led to the introduction of case management in version 7, a feature still widely used today, including in Pega Infinity 24. But you might ask, then why did we spend time learning this outdated approach? Well, it's not outdated at all. Case management in Pega has its roots in the traditional process flow based approach. So learning this foundation is crucial for any Pega developer. And you will see this connection when we dive into case management in upcoming videos. Lastly, we need to configure individual steps or tasks in the workflow. This includes creating views or forms for user-performed tasks like application submission and manager approval, and building logic for system-driven tasks like eligibility check and credit analysis. The goal of this video was to help you create process models and design workflows in Pega. Configuring individual workflow steps takes time, and I do not want to overload you with too much information at once. So we will dive into step number 5 in the next video. After that, we'll move on to case management in Pega. So if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you do not miss it. Also, you'll find the zip file of the process flow I just built in front of you in the Telegram channel. So be sure to join it as well. Finally, here is something interesting. While you haven't configured the individual workflow steps yet, you can still run the process flow to preview and test your workflow design. Yes, this is possible thanks to the draft mode feature in Pega. In simpler terms, draft mode lets you visualize how your loan applications will flow through the different steps in real life without needing to configure everything upfront. Let me quickly show you. You will find the draft mode switch in the palette above the canvas. It is on by default. If I try to turn it off now, it flags all the errors or configuration issues because we haven't configured the individual workflow elements yet. And draft mode stays on. Let me refresh the page and show you. You see, it's still on. The point is, you cannot turn it off until all configuration issues are addressed. And guess what? The system automatically toggles it off once everything is resolved. You'll see that in the next video. Now let's run the process flow to preview the workflow design. But first, I'll make a couple of minor changes. These changes are temporary and we will remove them later. At the eligibility check step, loan requests can take one of the two routes based on whether the customer meets the criteria or not. We are testing the happy path here, so we want them to take this connector and move on to the next step, credit analysis. Similarly, at the credit analysis step, loan requests can choose either route based on the customer's creditworthiness. But to test the happy path, we want them to take this connector to the loan officer for review. Let's configure these connectors for that. Right-click on the connector, leaving the first decision shape, then select View Properties. Change the condition type to When. Set it to Always in the following field and click Submit. This ensures that loan requests always take this connector to the next step. Repeat the same steps for the connector, leaving the second decision shape. So that loan requests always take that connector to the next step. Once you are done, save your changes. The next change is for the approval shape. By default, it's configured to route loan requests to the reporting manager. So we need to ensure a reporting manager is assigned. Right-click on the operator menu at the bottom left corner, then select Operator. Navigate to the Work tab. In the Reports to field, choose the Reporting Manager. Don't worry, you can pick any value from the list for now. Once you are done, save your changes. Let's go back to the process flow. Now we're all set to run it. To do that, click Actions, then select Run. This will display the new loan request screen with a couple of errors. For now, ignore them. We will just delete the customer section by clicking the trash icon to get rid of them. Then scroll back up and click Create at the top right corner. A loan request is created, starting with the Enter Application Details step, which is the first step in the process flow. Ideally, this task would display a view or a form for customers to enter the request details. But we will add that in the next video when we configure the individual workflow elements. For now, just focus on the sequence of tasks. Click Advance this case. This moves the loan request to the Review Application step. You might be thinking, what happened to the eligibility check and credit analysis steps? Were they skipped? Not exactly. Since they are automated or system-driven tasks, they were executed in the background. You only see manual or user-performed tasks on the front end. We will define the view or the form for this task too in the next video. Click Advance this case again to move the request to the final step in the workflow, Manager Approval. As you can see here, the loan request has now been assigned to the manager for approval. Click this link to open it. What you're looking at is the built-in interface of the approval shape with the two buttons below to approve or reject. Let me quickly export this entire application into a zip file. You can download the file from the Telegram channel. Now here is how you can import it into your Pega platform instance to review the process flow. Log into the Pega platform and make sure you are in Dev Studio. Click the Configure menu in the header, then select Application, then Distribution, and finally Import. Choose the downloaded file from your computer and click Next. On the following screen, click Next again. It will display the tables that will be created in the database. Click Next once more. After the import reaches 100%, click Next. Wait for the remaining records to be imported. Once the import is 100% complete, click Done. That's it. You have imported the application into your Pega platform instance. Next, you need to grant yourself the access to the application you just imported. To do that, open your operator ID record then add the access group My App Authors to the list on the right. This provides you access to the My App application. Don't forget to save your changes. Now switch to My App by clicking the application menu, navigating to Switch Application and selecting My App. Once you are in the My App application, switch back to Dev Studio. To open the process flow, click the Records Explorer on the left, then expand Process and select Flow. Look for the flow named Loan Approval Process and open it. Now you can review the process flow or even run it on your end. And that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to hit the like button and thanks for watching.